The world is changing, and some of those changes may feel alarming. Disturbing headlines and heightened tensions, layered under powerful eclipse energy and disruptions within the Earth, may leave you feeling like your boat is being rocked from every direction. But Metatron says you're not here at this time by accident, and you are most certainly not unprepared. You chose to be here for this extraordinary moment. And ironically, the very forces attempting to frighten or distract you may inadvertently reveal the power you truly possess. And be sure to stay tuned because later Metatron drops a big revelation about why you arrived on Earth without past life memories. Oh, yeah, he went there. Now, here's Metatron with this week's message. Things they are a changin' in various and sundry ways. Nothing to be alarmed about, though. As much as possible, flow through the changes, making minor adjustments along the way. Steady as she goes, eyes on the horizon, always moving forward. It does not serve you to spend time lamenting the past. It's over and cannot be changed, only learned from. And the wise among you will learn from the past so that you might make more empowered choices, thus creating a better tomorrow. In that way, nothing is wasted. There will continue to be disturbing reports in the news that, should you let them, can cause a powerful emotional response, whether that's to get riled up or to feel devastated. It's not often you'll find uplifting news reported in the media. That's not how they pay their bills. Thus, use your soft focus with regard to media reports so that you're aware of what's going on in the world around you while not being negatively impacted. To be clear, we are not encouraging you to be cold or indifferent to tragedy. Our purpose is to help you see that despite the tragedies in the world, you must go on if you are to live your purposeful life and make a difference along the way. Allowing yourself to be devastated by travesties and tragedies aids the dark forces in their endeavors, which you most certainly do not want to do. Thus, your responsibility as a sovereign soul is to both be aware of what's going on in the world and continue along your purposeful path. We realize this is causing you to stretch beyond your comfort zone and asking a great deal of you, but no more than you ask of yourself when you chose this lifetime, knowing that it would be exactly this challenging. So we ask you, dear Lightworkers, have faith in yourself that you knew exactly what you were doing. You were prepared, and you have within you the strength and determination to weather any storm without getting sidetracked. All the while, continuing on and fulfilling your goals for this life. Yes, there are some days where you will need to dig deeper than others, but you don't have to do it alone. You have incredible support from your Lightworker community, as well as from your divine team. We encourage you to call upon both as needed. Stay the course, dear children. You have come far. You have done well, and you are prepared. Do not let the machinations of the dark forces defeat you now. This week will bring a lunar eclipse, powerful enough to cause some deep ripples in your pond and rock your boat. There's nothing to fear. Simply continue making course adjustments as need be. We mention it only so that you will not be caught by surprise and have your flow disrupted. Feel your way through the energies of the eclipse, adapting and adjusting so that you might remain in your state of flow with the least disruption possible. Additionally, the environmental disruptions caused by Gaia's rebirthing continue on with the potential for more death and destruction. However, you need not fear the reverberations from Gaia as long as you remain tuned into your team, ready to bug out should they alert you to impending personal danger. It would be wise to review your plan periodically to ensure that you have all the pieces in place and can quickly respond should you be in the line of potential destruction. Definitely not something to worry about or get distracted by. Despite outward appearances, we want you to know Gaia is doing her best to mitigate the damaging effects caused by her rebirthing ripples. She's not intentionally trying to harm you, for she looks upon you lovingly as a spiritual mother who nurtures you. You can return her beneficence by sending her love and healing energy. It will be deeply appreciated and felt. Geopolitical tensions will rise this week to critically disturbing highs. However, the guidance remains. Do not be distracted by such things. Instead, respond by raising your consciousness, sending love and healing energy right into the path of destruction. Your energy and intentions, combined with that of millions of lightworkers active on the planet, will have a dampening effect, lowering the temperature on the conflicts and preventing them from reaching catastrophic proportions. So you see, children, each time the dark forces raise the stakes by pushing factions to escalate beyond sensibility, you personally possess the power to mitigate and lower the temperature, saving lives and potentially the planet. Indeed, you do have that much power. Never forget, you are co-creating with Divine. Surely by now you understand. Divine has unlimited love and power, always working on your behalf. Now, perhaps you understand why it's so important that you not shift into fear, doubt, and worry, because that shift rebalances the power from the forces of light to the forces of dark. That is how they trap you into unwittingly participating in their nefarious plans. Should you find yourself leaning in that direction, reach out your hands, and we'll immediately be there to help shift you back. One of the important changes we previously referenced is within yourself. This week, we ask you to be more present, noticing what's different. How have you shifted your energy, beliefs, and actions to fit the new reality you now occupy? This is an important introspective journey as you move into making more conscious choices, rather than simply drifting through life, allowing the currents to take you where they may. In this lifetime, dear Lightworker, you chose to fully captain your life ship, charting a course that leads to completing the mission. In this time of powerfully purposeful energies, great opportunity exists for you to fine-tune your mission, to more clearly hone in on what exactly it is your soul desires to accomplish in this lifetime. You plan to move confidently and purposefully, no longer being content to simply drift hither and thither wherever the winds carried you, as in previous lifetimes. In the doing, you can expect to experience deep satisfaction and clarity, replacing the previous unfocused and oftentimes confusing reality. With more clarity and action comes more peace and joy. So it's a worthwhile endeavor on your own behalf. When you allow yourself to sail upon these new higher frequency energies, you will find more delicious experiences to be savored along the way, to add to your knowledge and wisdom bank. And now, dear ones, let us shift gears to focus on the questions you have brought this week. If we chose major aspects of this life before arriving, how much freedom do we have to change course now? It is a misnomer to say that you chose major aspects of your present life. Rather, you had specific goals. Sometimes those goals aligned with a major event. However, it was always about the goal rather than the event. Had you mapped out your life, going from one event to another, You would have locked yourself into a path that didn't allow for expansion. Your spiritual growth would have been stunted, blocking you from expanding into different ways of being and thinking that might nullify the need for one of the milestones you had mapped out. So, children, understand, those milestones are guidelines. They are not set in stone. All are subject to change depending on present life circumstances. The overriding purpose is clearing old karma through releasing negative past life patterns by making empowered choices and expanding your consciousness along the way. Just as your Creator does not dictate to you how to live your life, neither do you, as a soul, dictate how a life will unfold before you step into it. There is great latitude for changing your mind, exploring different avenues, and having more desirable experiences. Some of that misunderstanding comes from the place of belief that there are certain things Creator asks of you. As we have explained to you previously, Creator has a simple baseline guidance for all souls, a prime directive, if you will. That is, to incarnate, expand your consciousness, find what feeds your soul, and do it, all the while living a joyous, deeply satisfying life. Within those components includes the element of fun. You did not come to live a life of rules and regulations. Quite the opposite. You came to have an exuberant, phenomenal life experience. That may mean stepping outside limiting accepted norms. If you're omitting fun, only focusing on goals, you're robbing yourself of the delightful pleasure of being incarnated in a body. We would encourage you to find ways to incorporate more fun in every day. When you do, it shifts your energy, opening you up to receiving more blessings and more inspired ideas. Fun is a critical component in your soul journey. Why does God allow wars to happen? Creator God has nothing to do with war. That is a construct created by humans to dominate one another. We can assure you, Creator is most assuredly not in favor of war, which never solves anything. In fact, it creates more problems and obstacles than you would otherwise face. Remember the core teaching of Creator: love is the most powerful force in the multiverse. So we ask you to consider, where in that core teaching would you find war? Of course, the answer is you won't. War is anathema to your Creator because it results in death and destruction of their creations. At the very least, it involves controlling others, robbing them of their divinely bestowed inalienable rights. Anytime thoughts of this nature come up, we would encourage you to take a step back and consider that Creator has given you free choice to create the world and reality you desire. If what you're living is not what you desire, then you have the power to change that reality. A better question would be, why does humanity allow war to continue, and what will it take to change that? Our answer to that question, dear children, is the oneness teaching. When more souls awaken to the truth that they are all endowed with the same rights and opportunities as every other soul to create their reality, then you begin to understand it's not about what God allows, it's about what humanity allows. When humanity finally understands that every soul is equal in the eyes of Creator, equally loved and equally empowered, there will be no need for wars or oppression for that matter. The real question is, why would one group of humanity assert themselves over another? The golden rule has always been to treat others as you would like to be treated. So unless you're signing up to be enslaved or massacred by another group of souls, which of course you are not, we would encourage you to adjust your thinking. Stop laying problems at the feet of Creator that originated from a lack of humanity. Start focusing on how you can change yourself and your world so that more awaken to the truth of divine love and the power of creating their reality. It is a simple lesson, one you have been working to master for many lifetimes. This is the lifetime when you plan to get it right so that you could manifest the prophecy of Earthtopia. The wise choice now is to focus on changing yourself. Come into alignment with oneness, peace, harmony, and love. From that place of beingness, you are ideally situated to inspire others to join you on the sacred journey to Earthtopia. When will there ever be physical evidence of the shift? If by physical evidence you mean the outer world, it is changing all the time. However, you will not one day awaken and see that your familiar world has drastically transformed, looking like some futuristic interpretation of Earth. The physical changes are presently obvious to those who are attuned to noticing. They are showing up in the way individuals treat one another with more compassion, understanding, and love. As you move into the oneness paradigm, changes are subtle. Shifting into awakening consciousness happens like a ripple as energy spreads from one to another. It may feel as if you have been sleepwalking through life until one day you awoke from a dream of what was and suddenly noticed the world looked different. The people acted different. Humanity, in the best sense of the word, has been restored. There is less tribalism, infighting, and all that entails. More inclusiveness becomes commonplace across the planet. Awakening leads to an understanding that borders are no longer necessary. All citizens of planet Earth are equal, worthy of being treated with kindness, compassion, love, and respect. That level of consciousness will slowly spread across the planet, like wildflowers in the spring, prolifically blooming wherever the seeds of awakening have been planted. Bit by bit, your world is transforming. One day you will awaken and suddenly notice drastic physical change from what was present time. You will see with your own eyes how much the world has actually evolved. While you're in the midst of slow incremental change, it's easy to overlook. Only when you step back to scan the big picture does it become clear that something has changed on a massive scale. That change is the rising of consciousness, moving humanity towards the oneness paradigm. Can an individual genuinely move into a more peaceful, abundant reality while the collective world around them remains chaotic? How do those two realities coexist? We say there is already ample evidence. Throughout history, there have been some individuals deeply committed to a philosophy of pacifism. Quakers and Baha'is are two widely recognized groups. Others spring from indigenous peoples whose spirituality practice revolves around peace and nonviolence. So you see, there are already peaceful societies who coexist alongside a chaotic outer world. Peace can be both a choice and a commitment. Soon more will move in that direction until one day it becomes the predominant philosophy on the planet. Some people describe feeling lighter, freer, more energized, while others feel exhausted, emotional, and overwhelmed. If humanity is moving through the same collective energies, why are the experiences so different? That is a multi-layered answer. The simple truth is that all souls are on individual journeys, some more advanced than others. Thus, it is perfectly natural that an awakened soul would have a very different experience from a pre-awakened soul. When consciousness rises, you become more aware of the subtleties of life that previously escaped your attention. That awareness changes the way you relate to the world around you and how you react to the challenges you encounter. Those who have not yet experienced awakening often perceive life as more cumbersome and overwhelming. Newbies to the awakening journey are usually still engaged in resistance, which can feel exhausting. That feeling of heaviness and struggle could be compared to paddling your canoe upstream. Depending on the force of the water, that can be an extremely challenging situation. On the other hand, awakened souls have learned to minimize resistance so that their experience is more in alignment with easily floating downstream, enjoying the experience with very little struggle or resistance. They have discovered that alignment and flow are highly preferable and remain in that state as much as possible. Struggle and resistance are futile. Soon enough, those newer to the path will make this discovery for themselves. Then they may choose to turn their canoes downstream, allowing the gentle current to carry them forward. Why would a soul knowingly choose an extremely difficult incarnation with things like loneliness, loss, abuse, illness, poverty, profound challenges, when spiritual growth presumably exists beyond Earth as well? What does Earth offer that other realms do not? Souls choose their destination based upon their goals for the next incarnation. They will coordinate with other souls, hoping to cross one another's paths in the next lifetime and resolve karma. Or in some cases, pick up where they left off with a satisfying relationship. Others will choose circumstances where negative repeating patterns are likely to recur, giving themselves the opportunity to make wiser choices, breaking free of that karmic imprint. Yes, they could choose other planets, many of which are far less challenging than Earth. However, that is exactly the reason many souls chose Earth, because it is a challenging school, if you will, offering great opportunity for expansion in a single lifetime. Though it may be difficult to understand, given your present world conditions, souls were eager to participate in this exact reality. Earth presented a higher level of challenge and reward to accelerate consciousness expansion beyond what they may have accomplished in multiple previous lifetimes. Souls incarnated at this time for the very specific purpose of participating in manifesting the new Earth that we call Earthtopia, a time of peace, oneness, and delicious expansion. So if you're not taking advantage of the opportunities presented to you, you're cheating yourself. We encourage you to consciously step up, engage with life, shine your brilliant divine love light into the world so that others might see, feel, and be positively impacted. Because if you've reached the level of awakening that has brought you to this message, you have much to offer the world, and that is why you came. We honor, respect, and thank you for making that choice. Why are so many souls choosing to exit at this time if they came to participate in Earthtopia? What you must understand is that souls choose multiple exit points for each lifetime. When they have reached a place of satisfaction with their accomplishments, they may choose to take the next exit point, or they may choose to wait for a future exit point. Exiting is always the soul's choice, even though the individual is not conscious of the soul's choice. Some souls reach a level of maximum tolerance, where even though they might wish to stay longer, they ultimately decide to leave further expansion for a future lifetime. It could be because they have simply had enough, or a variety of other reasons. There's nothing wrong with that choice. It's always theirs to make. The important thing to understand is that it doesn't matter when a soul chooses to leave, because there are a multitude of opportunities in the future for them to incarnate, whether on Earth or another planet, to continue their expansion journey. Because the truth remains, dear children, You are eternal. You always have the choice of coming, staying, or going. Whatever you choose is perfect for you and will be honored and supported by Creator and your divine team. Does a soul that leaves during this period cease participating in Earth's transformation? Or can those souls continue helping from the other side? Free choice for souls is universal truth, whether you were embodied or not. So yes, souls who have transitioned out of their body always have the ability to further participate if they choose. In fact, souls may have many ongoing projects simultaneously. Time in the soul world is not linear. Souls can be involved in many activities all at the same time. They can be watching over their still incarnated loved ones while enjoying a vibrant experience in spirit. Sometimes those activities include watching over the planet and interceding on her behalf. In fact, there is a special group dedicated to overseeing Gaia. It is made up of names which you would immediately recognize, and many you would not. Primarily those who were actively involved in caring for the planet during their incarnation. They are heavily invested in the health of the planet on behalf of those they left behind and for their future selves who intend to return to Earth. So yes, there is an industrious group constantly working on behalf of Gaia. We hope you find that comforting to know. You say that we choose to incarnate and come with an agenda. Why then do we forget the plan when we get here? What purpose does the veil of forgetting serve? Just as babies must learn to crawl before they walk, and walk before they run, so too must souls reach a certain level of proficiency before incarnating with memories intact. Those of you who incarnated with amnesia did so because that knowledge would have interfered with your ability to resolve karma and learn important lessons you chose to focus on. However, you may have noticed there are souls being born in the present who are retaining some memories of past lives. Those souls are more advanced in this regard. For them, retaining some memories is helpful and does not hinder their progress. When your soul has reached that level of proficiency, you too will remember. And we must point out that past life regressions and shamanic journeys have long been a part of many spiritual practices. So that information has always been available to you when you were ready to seek it out. Were you to incarnate with your previous life's memories intact, it would be confusing, making life even more difficult. Until your soul is ready, incarnating with amnesia is a gift, providing space for expansion, exploration, and releasing. The day will come when you are ready to incarnate with memories intact. It may be your next lifetime. It may not. All souls travel this path at their own pace. Just as some people graduate high school and college at a younger age than their peers, so too do some souls accelerate more rapidly and reach the level where it is safe for them to incarnate with memories intact. Let us remind you, dear children, there's no hurry. You have eternity. Rather than focusing on what may or may not happen in your next lifetime, we encourage you to focus on your present, doing everything you can now to create the future you desire. The only way you can affect your future is by the choices you make today and every today. So that concludes the Q&A portion of our message. We hope you found it encouraging and enlightening. This week, we encourage you to lighten up on yourself and expectations of others. More flow and ease will serve you extremely well. Everyone is struggling with something, even those whose lives appear perfect on the outside. Be kind, compassionate, and patient with others, for you do not know what burdens they carry, nor what obstacles they face. Be as kind as you would want them to be to you, where the roles reversed. You will find that small effort yields gigantic rewards in the grand scheme of things, and you will be creating some massive ripples in the pond. As you go about your week, pause now and then to imagine yourself held ever so tenderly in the arms of your personal guardian angel, who always provides exactly what you need when you need it. Allow yourself to feel how deeply loved and cherished you are. Let it be like jet fuel to propel you forward on your glorious, exuberant, blessed soul journey, forever in awe of your magnificence. All my love, Metatron. Friends, no matter how turbulent the outer world appears, remember, you were not sent here without the strength, wisdom, and support to navigate. You don't have to solve every crisis or carry the weight of the entire world. You're not Atlas. Your work is to remain conscious of where you're directing your energy, to choose love over fear, purpose over distraction, and steady movement over helplessness. As Metatron reminds us, your light is not merely comforting, it has the power to lower the temperature, soften the path, and help create the world you came here to experience. If this message helped you remember how prepared you are, please give it a thumbs up and share with someone whose boat has been wildly rocking. Then tell me in the comments, what helps you stay steady when the world feels uncertain? Subscribe if you haven't already, and join us again next Sunday for another uplifting message from Metatron. One more thing before you go. If you'd like to hear more about why your soul chose to be here during this extraordinary time, watch this video next. It may help you recognize a deeper purpose and why the world needs what only you can bring. Until next time, this is Debbra Lupien, voice of the Akashic Records, sending you divine love light to help illuminate your path and guide you safely through the stormy seas. Namaste.